And I didn't do too much research on them, so correct me. But right now, what we need to wait and see is how the MLB is actually going to feed their players and how are they going to support their players. Because now, as they're moving around and expected to quarantine, as we all know, they're kind of they can't really fend for themselves. They need the MLB to come in and to provide for them. So they need to make sure that they have a team, just as the NFL is doing. They need to have a culinary team around each MLB team. They need to have, the team needs to bring their own dietitians on board. The team needs to have their own trainers come with them. And now when it comes down to the player, they need to make sure that they're checking in with their own mental health, because the constant quarantining and moving can really do a number on your mental health. And, and that's a big aspect of every single sport. But then same rules with the NFL. We need to make sure that they're rehydrating when they're flying. They're constantly hydrating. And then they're also following recovery and refueling when they're moving, working around, and training. So yeah, we're gonna have to see. So I'm gonna keep my eye on the MLB and what they're doing.
So a lot of these athletes, they're used to a lifestyle of they play their game 7 p.m. to 10 p.m. They're usually probably going out after the game, or at minimum they're not getting home until 12 o'clock in the morning, right? And then they're probably sleeping in, and then they're going back to the stadium at 1, 2 o'clock. So just thinking about this logically, to me it would seem like a lot of athletes unintentionally do intermittent fasting. So what are your thoughts on that? And do you think for an athlete that's actually something that they should be looking to consciously do?
Yeah. So with athletes, so traditionally we never really say intermittent fasting is something that they should try to do purposefully. But because of their game schedule and their training schedule and everything, it looks like that's they have a very small time frame to do their eating and their sleeping in. So they need to pair up with their dietitian, and they do have one. Every single MLB team has one on staff. And what he or she is going to do is she's going to sit down and look at the specific schedule of these players and make sure that there will be food out. So if they're doing this right, they will have the dietitian actually create all of the meals and make sure that the food is out at the specific time that each athlete needs to eat. So food out means that it's going to be delivered directly to their room, and the athlete has to make sure that he's eating. So he has to have enough calories, and that's carbs, protein, and fat, all of that, and fiber as well in his day, because that's the fuel that he needs to keep going. And it's going to be tough too with that type of schedule, but he needs to realize that it has to be, maybe he needs to make sure I need to get in 4 meals every single day, and that's their goal. And he's going to work on that with the dietitian. So yeah, it's good. It's all teamwork, and it's very personalized.
Yeah, and I mean, some athletes are just creatures of habit. I mean, in 2016, Yoenis Cespedes, he got to the ballpark. He wanted waffles, but they didn't have. All they had was a square waffle maker, and he's like, "I need a round waffle maker." And he gave his keys to his Lamborghini to the chef to go buy a round waffle maker. So I don't know if we're going to see extreme levels of stuff like that, Joe, but that's the type of stuff we're looking at. And I think it's interesting because, Joe, we look at the NHL players, they, like all sports athletes, are night owls. Now with the restart, looks like there's going to be a lot of 12 o'clock in the afternoon games. How are they going to make that adjustment?
Yeah, I think they'll be fine. I mean, not having their families along, and they won't be on sites for them to worry about. It's just going to be very, very hyper-focused. I think it's going to be, I would say, an easy transition for those guys to make. But all the things that Lisa just rattled off about, how baseball players are going to have to adjust. Hockey players are going to have to do that same thing too. And I mean, Toronto is definitely a major advantage, I think, just because of proximity and because it's a major city. I think the East Coast teams that are playing there definitely have a significant advantage on Edmonton. And so we're going to see what's going to happen there. I think it's interesting also that because of the way the playoffs were structured, and it's going to be the same way with baseball, you're going to have extra teams now in the dance too, which means that these guys are now going to go, 3 straight months of playing with how many days off in between? Maybe 2 or 3 the whole month. So also, Lisa, I wanted to ask you, knowing all these players, most of them are going to be playing at least a stretch of a month straight. A lot of them are going to be 2 months. Some of them are going to be 3 months in the case of baseball, that they're going to have to play their whole regular season, as opposed to the basketball and hockey, where you're coming back right into the postseason. Any sleep tips or anything like that? If they're restless or they feel like they're not really getting the proper mental relaxation or mental rest that they need in between?
Yes, there are so many different symptoms of restlessness. And so, if somebody's not sleeping, it could be from a number of different reasons. But if it's just as simple as I can't, fall asleep, and you might just need like a quick fix just to help you sleep, you could try something like a melatonin supplement. However, it doesn't work for everybody, I have to say. And I would say it has like a 50% rate of actually working. Other than that, there's different minerals and nutrients. They're called adaptogens that you can specifically have through supplement form, or even putting it in your food, which helps you relax, fall asleep. But yeah, if there's sleep issues, and if a player goes to their dietitian and wants to address sleep issues, she'll actually ask a lot more questions, because sleeping or poor sleep or lack of can be from other underlining issues that she's going to want to get to. And if she lets that pass, or if he lets that pass and not be addressed, then his performance is going to take a hit for sure, because without sleep, our bodies can't fully recover. There's so much we do when we sleep that is absolutely not done, at least for muscle regeneration, when we're up. It all happens when we're sleeping. So yeah.
There you have it. Lisa, it's been a pleasure. What we usually do on this show is we let our guests have the last word. It could be anything about what we spoke about or anything else. So the microphone is all yours, Lisa. Take it away.
Oh, well, thank you so much for having me on the show. I had such a fun time. Nick and Joe, you're both great hosts.
Thank you.
I really enjoyed talking with you, and just everybody, if you want to contact me, reach out to me. I'll have my credentials out there, but stay well and, stay sane. This was fun, guys. Thank you so much.
Lisa, where can the fans and potential customers find you? Where can they reach out to you?
So you can find me on Instagram. I'm on my ad is Mindfully Nutritious. So that's my handle. And I'm also on Facebook too, Mindfully Nutritious. So you can go ahead and check out all the fun stuff I'm posting. So yes, thank you.
All right. It's been a great episode, Joe, and I think our audience certainly learned a lot about a healthy lifestyle on our lifestyle show. So I think it all worked out. So that's going to do it for this episode 25. For our special guest, Lisa, my co-host, Joe, I'm Nick, and thank you for listening to You Know I'm Right.